Hello, everybody. Welcome to the evening session of the City Council meeting. The meeting is called to order, and I will ask our Deputy City Clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Goebel is absent. All other council members are present.
Thanks very much. Would you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a brief moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Agenda changes. Staff, do we have any agenda changes?
Mr. Mayor, we have no changes to the agenda.
Council members? No. Okay, we are at public comment. At this time, any person may address a matter within the jurisdiction of the City Council, Housing Authority, successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency that is not on the agenda. Comments relating to items on today's agenda are to be taken at the time that the item is heard. State law prohibits discussion or action on items not on the agenda. However, Council, Authority, and agency members may briefly respond to statements or questions, and an item may be placed on a future agenda. Jackie, do we have any cards under public comment?
Yes, sir. We have one card. Ronnie Peterson.
Hello, Lonnie. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I on? Thank you. Yeah, I'm Ronnie Peterson, and I live at 1437 Diamond Lane in El Cajon for the past 19 years. And I've been living in East County since 1970. I'm actually a teacher in the Cajon Valley Union School District. This is my 30th year teaching 5th grade. I'm also a professional soccer and football coach in the community since '84. I'm a parishioner over at Holy Trinity Catholic Church and a Knight of Columbus. My children, 5 and 7, go to Bostonian Language Academy. Anyway, what I want to talk about tonight is Greenfield Drive has become a different kind of green lately. That's my title, if you catch my drift. My concern is that many kids walk along Greenfield Drive to get both the Greenfield Middle School and Magnolia Elementary School each day, Monday through Friday, when school is in session. Traffic is bad and dangerous because of the multiple marijuana dispensaries all located in the same close proximity to one another. Parking attendants at these dispensaries quite often stop traffic on Greenfield Drive to let their customers merge into traffic after a purchase. There are 7 to 10 marijuana dispensaries between Mollison and 2nd Street along Greenfield Drive, and it seems excessive to me. 6 are active today. I drove by and wrote down addresses. I also do not think it's good for property values when there are all these dispensaries. Now, I already know I'm preaching to the choir. I know you guys have shut down 70 of them. But the last few years, I've noticed several marijuana dispensaries along Greenfield Drive between Mollison and 2nd. And these are just rhetorical questions, so maybe at the end, if you want to feel answered, you can. Are there any regulations about how many of these dispensaries can be located within a certain distance of each other? It appears there are no limits like this in place yet. The good news is one of the dispensaries, which was at 975 Greenfield Drive, which once was a dive bar and then a dispensary, has become that Buckboard Barbecue restaurant. That's about the only good news. Today, right in front of my street at 1020 Greenfield Drive, is the newest dispensary. It was Ace Excavating Environmental Services for the past 20 years, but a new marijuana dispensary opened today at the corner of the street I live on, Diamond and Greenfield. I could barely drive down my own private road today. Many cars were parked along our private drive, blocking driveways. My wife said several cars sped into our driveway today, right where our kids play. Luckily, we have a huge gate. We'll now open and close 24 hours a day until that place shuts down or moves somewhere else. Also today, there's an active marijuana dispensary at 1107 Greenfield Drive. And there's one at 1256 First Street, but it kind of looks like it's on Greenfield Drive. They got an address on both sides of the property, and they have access from both Greenfield and First. 1181 is also a newer marijuana dispensary, 1181 Greenfield Drive. I noticed today that 1179 is a new house that's for rent right now, so probably be the next marijuana dispensary. And then Oro Street's a big problem because it crosses there with Greenfield at the 1300 and 1200 block. 1321 Oro is a marijuana dispensary. It's one house in from Greenfield Drive, but they got parking attendants working the corner. And 1238 Oro Drive is another marijuana dispensary. It's close to Greenfield Drive. And there's one house there with unmarked on the corner that's currently closed down, but it opens back up a lot. Most of these addresses I've mentioned are in the county, but I felt that you needed to know these problems exist near the county-city lines. I'll also be trying to meet with Diane Jacobs and the Sheriff Department to see how they can, help with this troubling issue along Greenfield Drive. But I promised my wife I'd do something today.
No, I appreciate it. First off, thank you for coming and talking to us about this.
I have a copy for you guys if you want.
Love to see that.
My notes, but
every person up here tonight agrees with you wholeheartedly. We were very disappointed when the county decided to allow marijuana dispensaries. We sent them a letter, and I think after we sent them a letter, they then put a moratorium on having more of them. So I don't know if these are legal dispensaries in the county, or if they're illegal dispensaries in the county, or if they're illegal dispensaries in our city. It's probably a smattering of all three.
So, Mr. Mayor, none of them are in our city limits. We currently have no dispensaries that we know of in our city limits. So these are all in unincorporated county area. It's our assumption that none of these are legal because there's a permitting process that's pretty extensive. So we are aware of them. I know our law enforcement has been in contact with the Sheriff's Department. So any pressure from our residents to elected officials in the county would be greatly appreciated.
Well, sir, I'm perfectly willing to write a letter on your behalf pleading your case to Diane Jacob. I'm sure the other council members will be willing to do that as well. We'll go ahead and let you coordinate with our staff, and we'll get those letters to you. And, Godspeed. It's probably the most effective thing that can happen is for people like you to go visit with county officials and tell them how you feel, because that really does get people's attention.
Well, today was the first day, and I knew you guys had a meeting tonight, so that, you're the first people I'm talking to. But, yeah, of course, I'm planning to talk to the sheriff as well as Diane Jacob.
If you wouldn't mind sending us an email or coming back to a meeting sometime and letting us know how this is resolving, we'd appreciate it. I know our staff will do everything within our power to help you.
And well, maybe since you guys have had such good success in El Cajon, in the city limits anyway, maybe you guys can assist the county a little bit with some ideas or some brainstorming.
It just takes a lot of time, effort, and money because we're in court constantly shutting these things down, and it's a pretty bad problem. So hopefully the county will take it seriously and do as much as they can.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Bob?
Maybe, what I found successful in some cases, when you call Diane Jacobs' office, tell them Mayor Bill Wells is waiting to hear back from you how they're handling this and what they're going to do about it. And sometimes that gets their attention when you throw a name around. Or you can throw my name, which I know her real well. Known her since before she got elected. Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much for the tip.
You bet.
Really quickly, I just want to say you're not alone with residents. I speak with the owner of the Grinder sandwich shop right there, and we've had numerous conversations about how much of a nuisance it is to her business and it disrupts. And so you're not alone. I would talk to your neighbors as well to see if
they're pretty upset tonight.
Yeah, that might be a larger voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's another thing you can do, too. They had a program a number of years ago called Safe Streets Now. And basically what the program was is it was for apartments that were causing trouble. Well, what they did was they documented what they did, and then they went to small claims court, the people in the neighborhood, and all of them sued the owner of the property for, I think you can sue them for $7,500. Each person can sue for $7,500 because of the nuisance in the neighborhood. At small claims, you can sue them all. And each one of these property owners, you can file a different lawsuit in small claims court. And it's very easy to do. And when the court date comes, you'll all have to go down to the court. And if the other people don't show up, then the property owner loses and you get a judgment against that property. And I think that would help in this situation.
Moving around from what I'm gathering.
Yeah, what's that?
These guys that have these places, they move quickly from one to another and they shut down, open back up, things like that.
Well, I would look up who the property owner is and file a lawsuit and maybe get them out of there. And I'd file one against every one of the addresses that you named.
Hopefully we can get them out of the one by my house and buy that
Yeah.
property up.
Well, do them all. Get rid of them. We don't want them.
Oh, sir, I one more question.
Yeah, I would suggest what you could do is talk to all your neighbors in that neighborhood and get them to write letters and call Diane Jacobs' office.
Right, yeah, they want to, tonight we have several of them that want to get a petition started.
Yeah, letters work actually better, an actual letter.
Well,
Letters to her.
if everybody files a small claims lawsuit against every one of them, I think you'll see some of them wrapping up their business pretty fast. And that would stop those property owners from renting to those type of people, because they know that you're going to attach their property, not the business, but the property.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. So it worked before. I've seen it happen.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good luck, sir. Thank you for coming.
All right, thank
Right.
you.
Public comment.
Did you want to
Yeah.
go ahead?
I see we have some students here tonight, and I would like to ask all of the students to come down to the microphone here. Give us your name, what school you're from, what you're studying, and what you want to do when you get finished with. You're probably in high school, I would imagine. No exceptions, and your teacher will be notified as to who doesn't come or who comes. So. Everybody come down and because it's on television. So come on down to the microphone here, just as the last speaker did, and introduce yourself and tell us what you want to do when you get out of your high school degree. Are there any more students other than these? 4? Yeah, one more. There must be some more back there. You can tell who's the students, and we'll have them come down. And this is being televised, so you'll be on television tomorrow night on Channel 24 at 7 p.m. Okay.
Hello.
Pull the
My
microphone
name-
down so we can hear you. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Yusuf Daoud. I am in Valhalla High School. My teacher is Mr. Hernandez. He does economics and government. What I want to be is a photographer. I like to travel around the world to take pictures of wonderful things.
Just stay out of China for a while.
My name is Solmar Rowland. I currently go to Valhalla High School. Right now I'm learning government. And out of high school, I plan to be a lifeguard for a few years and then try the Coast Guard.
Very good. Yeah, they just picked up 38,000 pounds or 3,800 pounds of cocaine off of right outside our borders here.
Hi, my name is Musab Muhammad. I'm from Cajon High School. When I graduate from high school, I want to study computer science.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jayla Bruno. I'm from Grossmont High School. I guess I'm studying all subjects, but I'm here for my government class. My teacher is Mr. Smith. I hope to continue my education at a four-year university and study psychology, and then hopefully get my master's in environmental psychology and do something like city planning or something down that road.
Very good. We're always looking for more planners.
Hi, my name is Abby.
Pull it down.
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Abby McCoy. I currently go to Grossmont, and I study all subjects too. I'm not here for a particular one. I want to go to a four-year college and then go to another 4 years to get my master's and study and become an environmental engineer or something within that. So.
And do you know that I went to Grossmont High School and graduated in 1956? So you can figure out how many years ago that is. 63 years ago.
You stunned her.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Emma McCoy, and I go to Grossmont High School as well. And
Can you pull the microphone down a little closer?
oh, okay, yeah.
It'll come down.
And then I study all subjects as well, and I want to go to a 4-year college too.
Very good. And you go to Grossmont?
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember that 63 years ago, my alma mater.
Hi, my name is Reese McCoy, and I go to Fletcher Hills, and obviously I'm still in elementary school, but when I grow up, I want to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you all for participating. And that's just a lesson in self-esteem. When I was your age, I would have been scared to death to do that. And but I congratulate you all. That's your first public speaking assignment.
Nobody's scared at all. They did great.
Yeah, you did wonderful, really. Thank you.
All right, nicely done. All right, do we have any more speakers?
No, sir, we have no more cards.
Okay. Then that brings us to the event of the night. Item 100 is for interviews for the, well, we're going to start with the Personnel Commission, or the Personnel and Planning Commission vacancies, and a vacancy on the Mission Trails Regional Park Citizens Advisory Committee. Staff, would you tell us about this, please?
Certainly, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is something that you routinely do. Tonight's a little bit different. As you can see in the staff report, there are currently 3 vacancies on the Personnel Commission, and as you recall, there are certain designated positions on the Personnel Commission that you have to select from. For example, one pool is from individuals that are recommended by our labor associations, and one is from someone that's recommended from the other members of the Personnel Commission, and then one is from at large. We only had one individual want to reapply to be on the Personnel Commission, Mr. Agundez. Mr. Agundez notified the city recently this afternoon that he, due to some personal conflicts, could not make it. He wanted to be here, but cannot make it here tonight. Still expressed interest to serve on the Personnel Commission. He's been on it for the last 4 years and would like to continue to be on it. So there's 2 things the council can do. One is make the appointment tonight based on his application, or you could reschedule him to come in and meet with you. So those are sort of 2 options. While you're thinking about that, I kind of wanted to pitch something else related to the Personnel Commission. If we can bring up the slide. Staff is concerned that the Personnel Commission's effectiveness is pretty limited in that there's really no need for them to meet lately. So I asked our Human Resources Director, Ms. Thorne, to pull up for the last 12 years the number of meetings that Personnel Commission has had each year. So you can see the last 2 years we've had no meetings. 2018 we actually had 3. If you were to do a 13 or 12-year average, we're averaging about 1 meeting a year. I don't know if that's the best use of city time. So what I would also recommend, after you make a decision on how you want to treat Mr. Agundez, but is to direct staff to come back with some recommendations of whether or not to eliminate the Personnel Commission. There are some things that would have to happen if you were to do that. You just couldn't make that decision tonight, for example. There's municipal code changes. There's meet and confer issues with our labor groups. So we'd like to do some homework and bring back a recommendation to the City Council if that was your direction. Once you make a determination on the Personnel Commission, we'd recommend you interview the 3 candidates for the Planning Commission, and then the 1 candidate, and make a decision, and then the 1 candidate for the Mission Trails Committee. So with that, Mr. Mayor, we're ready to take your direction.
First thing I'll do is ask Jackie if we have any cards on this item.
Yes, sir, we have 1 card for the Planning Commission. Yes.
Well, let's deal with the Personnel Commission first.
No, sir, we have no cards for
No
Personnel
cards for
Commission.
Then I would make a motion that we will go ahead and reappoint Mr. Agundez based upon his prior service. And then let's go ahead and vote on that if there's a second.
Second.
Move in second, please vote.
Sir, with your permission, if I may reset the vote, please.
Please.
Please vote. I'm sorry, sir. With your permission, if I may reset the vote.
It's okay. So,
Please vote. Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
all right. And then the second motion that I would make would be we take our city manager's suggestion and ask them to come back with some ideas on how to proceed.
Mayor, before you do that, since this was not on the agenda as such, I think what Mr. Mitchell really is looking for is whether there are any objections for him to bring back some.
Are there any objections?
No.
Thank you.
So moved then. Okay. All right then. Let's move on to the. Let's do Mission Trails Regional Park next. Are there any cards on that?
No, sir. We have no cards.
All right then. Let's see here. I'm taking this out of order, aren't I? Apologize. All right. So we have one commissioner who's needs to be appointed, and is Demetrios Sparacino, pardon me. Hi, Mr. Sparacino, how are you?
Good evening, I'm doing well.
Great. Listen, you've got 3 minutes to go ahead and tell us why you'd like to be on this commission, and then after that, we'll ask a few questions.
Okay, great. Well, first, thank you for inviting me to come in and give some background about myself and why I'm interested in this position. About me, I am in my 12th year as a practicing attorney here in San Diego. Predominantly, those cases have concerned property damage in the context of utility companies causing fires. So as of recent, we've been quite busy throughout the state. One case was pertinent, I believe, to this position, and that was we co-represented a Habitat Conservancy in northern LA County against LADWP. And in working with the Conservancy, I was able to understand and better see how such a Nature Conservancy's organization works, the constituents that it works with, how it builds consensus and advances its mission of preserving the land. I'm a born and raised San Diegan. And most of those years have been in East County. Currently, my wife and I and our 2 daughters live in Fletcher Hills. So why do I want this seat? Well, I actually thought this was a paid position, so no, that's just a joke.
That's really a funny joke.
The land and the waterways are very important to me, and a critical water source, as you know, runs through Mission Trails, and despite much development from Tierra Santa to Grantville to Del Cerro, the trails have remained. At one point, I lived across from the trails, and I believe that our connection with what's remaining of nature is very important. And to the extent that I can advocate on behalf of the city of El Cajon, which I'm a resident of, in the context of preserving this local treasure of ours, it'd be my pleasure to do so. Obviously, the trails are important, but equally as important is the flora and the fauna within the trails and our sort of coexistence with nature. Additionally, there is much historical significance with the trails being the waterway that it is, including cultural sites with the Kumeyaay Indians. Lastly, I have my own personal connection. I've utilized the trails since I was a teenager. My wife has an acupuncture business literally out in Gulf Crest across from Cowles Mountain. Lastly, I think it's important that my two daughters see me volunteer and see me do my civic duty and give back to the community. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Let me see if there's any questions for you. Anybody?
Sorry I didn't pay position.
Well, your resume is extremely impressive.
Thank you.
I think that, based upon where you live and where your wife's business is, and I can't imagine asking for a better candidate. I'd love to make a motion to appoint this gentleman. Second. Moving second, let's please vote. Hey, you made it.
Well, thank you very much.
So let me say a couple of things. First off, this is, just make clear, this is for a term that will expire on January 31st in 2022. And Graham, when are we going to do the oath of office?
So, because this is not our committee, he'll be actually representing our community on this committee. We won't issue the oath of office for this.
Well, I'm sure they'll swear you in at the next meeting. Thank you very much for representing us. Please feel free to keep us informed if you think there's anything happening that we need to know about. And again, we appreciate your willingness to serve.
Absolutely. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Now, Jackie, do we have any cards for the Planning Commission?
Yes, sir. We have one speaker, Paul Circle.
Planning Commissioner Circle, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's odd to be on this side of the podium, but glad to be here. I just wanted to come before you guys and let you know that Veronica Longoria has been doing a great job. We don't always see eye to eye. We don't always agree on everything, but she has grown so much in the last 4 years, and I really appreciate having her voice on the Planning Commission. And if you guys see what fit, I would hope that you reappoint her for another 4 years.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for Paul?
No.
Thank you. Thank you
All right.
for serving on the Planning Commission.
My
I know
pleasure.
You're getting that large paycheck. Thank you for all. I know it's a lot of work. Being on, I was on the Planning Commission for 4 years. I think all of us. Phil, you were for about 5 minutes.
I
But
wasn't on the Planning Commission.
You were there, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun, actually. Okay, so we're going to start seeing applicants. Again, we'll have 3 minutes to tell us why you'd like to be a planning commissioner, and then we'll ask you some questions and go from there. Is Mr. Estes here tonight, or is he not going to be able to come? Mr. Estes, okay. This is Mark Estes. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
Very good, thanks. The floor is yours.
Thank you. About 2 years ago, we bought a house here in El Cajon at 1198 Grouse. We bought it there so that we could be within a 5-minute drive of our two granddaughters. We moved down from the East Bay, and before that we had lived in Colorado. I have my law degree and library science degree from the University of Denver. I never practiced law. I didn't want to practice law. I've been a problem solver helping other people find the answers to questions. I want to be on the Planning Commission because I like El Cajon. We're not going to leave. Our granddaughters aren't going to leave. I want to help continue to make it a better place for everyone to live. It's important for citizens to be involved with government. The Planning Commission is one way for the public to participate and ask staff and help staff make decisions that are good for the entire community. I have experience working with staff. I was the president of the American Association of Law Libraries, a 5,000-member association of law librarians, and worked with staff out of our Chicago office, organizing and planning large events. I served on the Bicycle, Pedestrian, and Advisory Committee in San Leandro, where we worked to devise and improve bicycle and pedestrian safety. Again, a very important topic here in El Cajon. I bring rule understanding. As a law librarian, I like rules, far more than I realized I did until just a couple of years ago. But I'm creative about finding solutions to problems, looking at ways that we can solve the issues facing us. And El Cajon is doing a good job addressing many things, and it's not going to get easier. We all know that. And I'm looking forward to being able to work with you and the Planning Commission in making El Cajon a better place for all of us. I've got a minute left, but that's enough for me.
Well, thanks very much. I appreciate you coming and talking to us. Let me see if there's any questions. Go ahead, Phil.
So generally, Mark, over here.
Yes.
So generally speaking, with regard to growth and building in the city, how much growth is too much growth? How would you tackle that?
That's a location by location, really. As a bicyclist, I want growth in particular ways that would make it easier for me to get around on my bicycle. As a pedestrian, I want to be able to have sidewalks to get to those places. And there are many roads in El Cajon that don't have sidewalks. So how much growth is too much? How much can the infrastructure around the area support? If we add too many cars driving on it, then it breaks down the road. I live near Flying Hills Elementary School. Between 8:30 and 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, there are too many people there because parents are dropping their children off at school, walking from in front of our house on Finch to get to the house. So in that instance, for some part of the day, growth has been too much. But we never knew that 10 years ago. Looking ahead, we know that people want to live closer to transportation. We know that we need to do more to reduce the reliance upon automobiles and look for different ways of getting people around. How much is too much? It's Goldilocks. There is just the right amount, and I don't know that we will see just the right amount until we have looked at perhaps both extremes as potential solutions to the problem, to the opportunity. Because that's really what it is. It's an opportunity to solve the housing needs that we have in the community, in all of California, and the country for that matter. You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Any more questions? Mr. Estes, thank you so much for coming. Again, you are eminently qualified, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us tonight.
You're welcome.
Our next applicant is Veronica Longoria. And Ms. Longoria is already a planning commissioner.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. It is weird being on this side. Usually we're up there, as Paul Serco said. It has been my honor for the last 4 years to serve on the Planning Commission. I'd like to continue to serve on the Planning Commission, working side by side with my fellow commissioners. I think we're moving the city in the right direction, in your vision, the city's vision, and our citizens' vision. Like Paul said, we don't normally, not normally, but we don't always see eye to eye. However, we all have our strengths, and we bring them to the Planning Commission, and I believe currently we have a great Planning Commission as we have it today. So I'd like to continue as a former planner, city planner, and also as a environmental audit compliance auditor currently. I bring that side to the Planning Commission. So I bring, how can I put this? I put the little touches, the feminine touches to some of the projects that not many of the others see. So it's nice to have that little touch in certain projects. I would also love to continue to be a role model to my daughters, to other young women who would like to follow in the footsteps of planning commission, and getting involved with their city. So with that said, it would be an honor to be reappointed to the Planning Commission and to continue moving forward in the city that we have today.
Great. Thank you very much. Let me see if there's any questions.
I'll ask the same question, although you have an advantage. I guess you heard it. Generally speaking, how much growth is too much?
I have to agree with Mr. Estes. It really depends. I think El Cajon currently, we can still have some growth, and by that I mean good growth. We're still trying to fix some of the problems that we had from many years ago from our planning commissioners then and city council members then. But with the new projects that the city staff is bringing to us and working with Sandag, I think that we're going to go in the good growth direction. Hopefully we have some walkability, some bicycle lanes that are coming. It would be nice to get all of Fletcher Hills up so that we have more walkability up there and we have more restaurants. So there's a lot of potential growth that can happen still here in the city of El Cajon. I don't think we've quite maxed it out yet, but I think we're headed in the right direction. We're not growing too rapidly.
Bob?
Are those your daughters that came up and spoke?
3 of them are. One is I've just picked up. She's like my adopted daughter.
Oh, okay.
One is actually at college, so she is watching online, and then the other one's at practice.
Tell them congratulations
So I have
on
5.
coming down and being brave.
Yeah, they did really good. Thank you.
They did.
Question. Thanks very much. Thanks
Thank you.
for all the dedication you've given for the last 4 years.
Thank you.
It's a lot of work. I know it is. And,
It's been fun.
I appreciate it, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we will go from here.
Okay.
Our last applicant is Rebecca Pollock-Rude. Rebecca? Welcome.
Good evening. I came with nothing because I always speak from the cuff because that's just how I am. But thank you so much for having us all come out tonight and apply for this fabulous position, this wonderful, high-paid, fabulous job. I have lived in the city of El Cajon for over 20 years. I've seen it grow. I've seen it change. I've raised my kids here. They've now off to college. They graduated from Grossmont High School. My son is now playing football from Mesa, so we'll see how much longer I survive with him in my house. I might be broke by the end of this year. But the reason why I ran for the Planning Commission is because I have a degree in communications. I haven't used it. I'm a real estate agent, an active realtor. I'm getting my broker's license. I do real estate every single day. I work with zoning. I work with commercial. I work with a little bit of everything. And the only way that you can have change is work with what you got. And you got to take what's there and try to make it the highest and best use. And I know the city of El Cajon has done leaps and bounds from when I first got here 20 years ago. The dealerships, the hotels, a lot of great things here to this city. In comparison, when I started here, even though I've always loved this city. But I would rather, I'm a big component of being part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I can sit here and complain about things, or I can help. So I was a Brownie, I was a cadet, Key Club, Lincoln Club, whatever it is, I'm going to volunteer because that's just how I'm wired. So I really hope that I will get the opportunity to help this fine city. And considering planning is what I love to do, why not just jump in and see where I can help?
Okay. Appreciate it. Let me see if there's some questions.
Sure.
Same question. Generally speaking, how much growth is too much growth?
Like everyone else says, it all kind of depends. You know, you kind of have to factor in, highest best use, and there's always going to be traffic. There's always, everybody wants to have a sidewalk. Everybody wants walkability. Everybody, we have the trolley here, so to build things, that are centrally located, so people who, want to live close and be able to traffic out of the city and come back home and pay their taxes here, that's great. It's basically kind of factoring in many things, like the change has happened, and they've done great changes thus far, and they've done a great job in working with you guys to make the best use of El Cajon, and I'd only like to see that further, because where I live over by Grossman High School. There's really nothing over there, but I'm okay with walking somewhere. I can still walk down the street to a trolley. There's not a lot of sidewalks. It's not really a huge issue. It's just trying to figure out what people's concerns are and working together to make it happen.
Okay. Bob, any questions? Gary? All right. We are done. Thank you for coming and for telling us about you and for applying. Again, everybody is so well qualified.
Well, thank you, everyone, for taking the consideration of everyone. I appreciate it.
It's just great that so many impressive people want to do this job. All right. Now we're at the hard part. We have to choose one person out of three, and all three I thought were extremely well qualified. So I'm open to discussion at this point.
I will just say, to open it up, I just attended the League of California Cities New Council Members Academy, and there was a presentation by a planning commissioner, 20 years, who's also a developer and a professional planner. And that question was asked, how much growth is too much growth? And the answer they gave us was, it depends. And that's what everyone's answer was. So just based off of that single question, I think everyone's qualified to be a planning commissioner. They have the right mindset. You have to look at the specifics of each plan. So I'll start with that.
I think it's important to point out to the audience, too, that being a planning commissioner is not really based upon your experience with being a planner or the ability to have done this kind of work. We're really looking for people that are interested in protecting the integrity of the growth in the city and making sure that the projects that come to us are good quality projects and that represent the kind of growth that we'd like to see happening in the city, that not only the city council but the citizens. And so we're looking for people that are protective of the community, which I think everybody qualifies for that. Any other thoughts?
I can start. I can start.
Somebody needs to make a motion, or
yeah. Well, everyone's qualified. That's obvious, and everyone seems like they go through the right decision-making process. I liked how Rebecca mentioned the specific projects that she saw in El Cajon with regard to the dealerships, the concerted effort that the city council made. I appreciate Veronica, her interest and continued dedication, and Mark, you are overly qualified for this position. But I like how Rebecca's history in El Cajon, she saw and she related it to the city, and she's keenly aware of all the projects given her history, 20 years. Yeah.
I agree with Councilman Ortiz. I think Rebecca would bring great value to the city, given her background, and everybody on the Planning Commission comes from different backgrounds, and it's a citizen committee. So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Rebecca Pollock-Rude.
Before we go a second, I just want to point out, I did talk to all the planning commissioners, and everybody was extremely complimentary of Ms. Longoria, and they really enjoyed working with her and thought she was a great asset. There's a motion on the table, and if there's a second, we can vote, but I just wanted to point that out. Is there a second to...
I'll second.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second. Please vote.
Motion carries by unanimous vote of those present.
All right, so we've made a decision, but again, thank you for those of you that applied. This is always the I think, the hardest meeting of the year for me, because we get so many great people that apply, and there's lots of opportunities and chances to run for council and lots of ways to serve the community. So if you didn't get chosen tonight, please come back and serve again or apply again in some other way. Okay. And again, we're going to wait till the next commission meeting to sign everybody in.
Correct, Mr. Mayor. We would recommend that Ms. Pollock-Rude be sworn in at the next Planning Commission meeting in front of her colleagues, and that way she can have family here if she would like to do that.
All right. That then brings us to the adjournment. The adjourned regular joint meeting of the El Cajon City Council Housing Authority successor agency to the El Cajon Redevelopment Agency held this 11th day of February 2020 is adjourned until Tuesday, February 25th, 2020 at 3 o'clock p.m. Thank you very much.